Hello and welcome to yet another one of Stranger 1-3's replay analysis. Today we're going to have a look at RidiculousRichard's VK3001D B game on... Jesus Christ, I never managed to remember this map name. Live Oaks, right, yes. Let's pause that here. Richard, when you sent me this replay, I read through your post a couple of times, and I had a look at the battle results. And it sounded to me a lot more like you're asking me for an analysis of not your gameplay, but more of the tactical situations and, well, I guess what you were thinking, through the game. So I've watched your replay like 4 times, and I've written down what I think of it. So well, let's get started. First of all, we're in a tier 8 game. If we have a look at the team lists, we can see we start off with a Lerva and a T-34. We get a platoon of 2 Type 59s. They get 2 T-34s and a T-69. That's basically for turrets and tier 8s. I don't count the T-28 prototype, and neither do I count the Borsig, but proper tanks. So we definitely have the advantage there in health, kind of, because we get a Lerva and a T-34. They get 2 T-34s, not to mention 2 Type 59s. They do, however, get a pretty significant tank destroyer force. Tier-wise and armor-wise, I'd say of the tier 8s, we're somewhat equal, with potentially the enemy definitely having a slight advantage since they got a T-28 prototype and 2 T-34s. Especially those 2 T-34s don't go, well, if one of them don't go to the city, go down the 0 line. Now, we're in our 3001D. It appears to be fully upgraded. We're using the 7.5cm gun L70, the Panther's historically accurate gun. Otherwise, I guess this vehicle is fully upgraded. Ammunition loadout, we have 59 on piercing. I'd say only turn APCR and a quite significant share of HE. Though at this tier, there is actually quite a lot of things you can shoot that HE at. Though it's not really the best HE in the game, at least not for its caliber. Anyways, continuing down the team list, excuse me, we get a Panther, so that's another fair chunk of health. They get 2 T-25s, so do we. We have a Geschutzwagen Panther, they get an M12. Personally, I'd say the Geschutzwagen Panther is superior to the M12 though. No, M12's not bad either. Doesn't get any AP or heat though. Otherwise, we get a Walker Bulldog, they get a T-71, and of the tier 6s, it's an ARL against a KV2, our VK, SU-100, and an SU-100Y, so they have a pretty significant firepower advantage on their team, considering they have 2 T-34s, a T-28 prototype, and not to mention an SU-100 with almost 2,000 battles played in that thing, and an SU-100Y. Below that we get a 2801, they get a T-37, and both teams get a Leopard VK1602. Anyways, Panther for the upgraded Borsig 12.8cm, the E25 platoon over here. Don't see any significant deficiencies with anybody in the distance. That 2801 looks like he's got the derp gun as well. Walker Bulldog's too far away to tell, but he definitely has a top turret. So, yeah. Let's speed it up, play it, and see what happens.
Los geht's!
And let's pause that. I'm gonna quickly do this, and let's have a look. These guys that are right in front of us, they seem to be heading in this direction. Same for the Borsig, judging by the way he's pointing his gun. The Type 59 platoon appears to be heading for the train tracks. So seems the Walker Bulldog, 2801, T-34 seems to be heading to the city, ARL doesn't seem to be moving at all, the Geschutzwagen Panther seems to be going for the dip, Lerva appears to be heading for the city, and so do we. And then we decide maybe not. And I read it in your post, you thought that, there's not enough anywhere or anything, and I can see you definitely, loitering around a bit, seeing what's up. Let's slow it down again. Considering the team lists, our T-34 and Lerva is heading towards the city, and a couple of tier 7s might be able to back them up, or if you're lucky, even snipe down some of their health before they get in here. They enemies have 2 T-34s and a T-28 prototype to face them, but if these guys play well, they can easily defeat that. As long as they don't get whacked with the T-28 prototype too hard. Anyways, Walker Bulldog, 2 Top 59s and a Hellcat in support, Leopards in the middle, ARL still AFK, and we found our first victim. Pretty well led first shell, although it did go a bit to the right. That one was a bit unlucky, went into his upper places, and let's stop that. That's not enough lead. 586 meters away, he's driving, he's hightailing it, you can see on it. You need to be aiming here, even with this gun. Not enough. That one probably landed like 5 meters short. Anyways, continuing on, our Borsig and Hellcat are in the back sniping. We have two Type 59s that are pushed up. So at this point, looking at the map development, since we haven't seen any of their tier 8s yet, we have a T-71, a KV-2, that Leopard, so he's not feeling very happy. We have a Type 59 here, Type 59 here, and a VK3001 down there. And what's that? It's a E25 down there. The opposing E25s were in a platoon, so it's quite likely that the other E25 will be somewhere around that sector as well. Now, we're loitering around a bit. The ARL's finally actually moving. He does have the DC-45 gun, so that's a good sniper gun if he parks himself somewhere up there. In my opinion, in this position, I would probably have rushed along the train tracks to join the 59s. Although I read in your post that you do prefer being a bit more passive in the back and providing support. And this is, after all, a tier 8 game, and we haven't seen any of their tier 8s yet. Well, now we've seen a T-34, and I guess you can't see it on the map, but I'll just do that. It's it's the second T-34. And we see the Leopard on the map, and it looks like we're dropping for another shot on him. So 26 health. He disappears out of render range and is taken out by an E25 on the hill. And now we see a bunch of people in front of us, and we're looking for some shells. You see the SU-100Y? We get a pretty nice snipe on him. Oh, now I probably would have gone for the E25. Yep. E25. Good shot. And let's pause that again. This position here is okay, provided they don't have anything on this area over here that can rush mid or spot us. That is where the ARL is an okay position. ARL does actually have surprisingly good gun oppression. And at this point, we've already lost the Type 59 and the other Type 59 at half health. Mostly because they're idiots. Why so? You just need to get to the bridge. On the underside of the bridge, you can fight them hull down. But these guys aren't. They're getting owned because they suck. That's a very bad position to be in. Not to mention, you're very open to artillery. And the scores aren't looking too bad. We've lost a tier 8, they've only lost a tier 7, not to mention the two Leopards. And on top of that, we lost a 281. And, you know, a Type 59 is not really looking too healthy, and Rail's just YOLO'd in and gotten himself killed. That's why you don't sit on top of the train tracks. We do have a Hellcat and a Borsig sitting back, and a Walker Bulldog over here. The enemy T-37 has been spotted on the position where I was a bit worried about earlier, as our artillery managed to score a hit on the T-34. Now, as that was played on 2x speed, but personally, I would have auto-aimed, the moment I say him, auto-aim, drive forward, fire, and then immediately back down. This is to avoid anything up there, you're just not giving them, don't give them the time to actually aim on you. Anyways, we slowed back down to first speed again. We don't get a shot on him, he doesn't get a shot on us, we don't get shot, and we back down. However, we're spotted now. Our Type 59 is, let's just pause that and buff the map up. I hope you can see the mouse, but basically, you see where the blue line is basically a ridge. The yellow line is another ridge. It's nice to have this extra mini-map actually. This guy's YOLOing in. The area he is in right now is actually another dip. But none of us can help him. The only one on this map who's currently able to support that 59 is artillery. And the distance from here to here is about, like 900 meters, I think. Oh, it is a 1,000 meter map. So that's about 1 kilometer, 900 meters, like roundabout. So the likelihood of him being able to accurately target, one of those moving targets, not really that likely. Still, that gun's not that inaccurate. But still, if those vehicles down there are moving, which they probably will be since there's a Type 59 on their asses, it might make it difficult for the only vehicle that's able to support them to actually do anything useful. What they should be doing is underneath this ridge, so that if anything wants to pop up over this ridge, they're going to get shot. Let's continue playing the game. Now we're heading off to this environmental Borsig's position to see if we're able to provide any sniper support for this Type 59 at all. And looking at the map in the city, our tier 8 heavy tanks that went there are still in good position. Now this is not recommended. I would personally either go around or above him, not right behind him. It's disrespectful, you know. Our artillery fires and doesn't appear to do any damage, and good luck getting that shell to hit or penetrate, especially since you let it so long. So that's never going to, you know, that was really unlikely for it to actually hit anything, and the only way it would have hit was, you know, a lucky RNG that caused the shell to go wide. Anyways, both the stupids in the Type 59 have managed to get themselves killed already. And feeling a bit alone here. Walker Bulldogs also hightailed it out of it. Our artillery managed to take out their artillery though. And let's pause that again. The enemy artillery, we saw, if you saw him on the map, he was on the 0 line, which meant he would have been completely useless against anything pushing on the underside of this ridge. But let me press Alt. That's one dead T-59 idiot. That's another dead T-59 idiot. That guy just sat on the tracks and died. Zoom out. Can you see that? Can you see where these idiots died? Don't do it. Very bad position. Let's play. We do have a camera and a binocular telescope, so that can be used to our advantage. And you just look right through it. Hey, pause. That bush there. Up into the bush. You can spot across. With the camera, you're not going to get spotted yourself. But if they're already waiting for you, you're going to get spotted on the way up. This one won't spot you much, it's really just trying to get his shots on, and I wouldn't sit on top of a train track like that. Especially not when you haven't poked it properly from the other side first. Anyways, we're not getting spotted, which means they don't actually have anything in the spotting bush, which means that they might actually be turning around to deal with the fact that they're not really doing too well in the city. Spot another T-34, slow it back down. Giving good time to aim, the shell actually goes in. It's, the lag you see now is just the replay being silly. We get another shell on his backside. And we're looking for a shot in the SU. Fire one anyways, but if you saw on the map, he's on the other side of the train tracks. Our Walker Bulldog takes out the enemy T-34, and we still have two TRA heavy tanks, the Borsig alive, and the only losses we've taken as of yet are the two T-59s who suicided in. Our Rheinmetall Borsig takes a pop at the enemy's T-28 prototype, doesn't penetrate, or hit, I don't know, but the T-37 on the E-25 on the flank is trying to shoot him. Our artillery is trying to get a shot from him, but our E-25 just got ganked by their T-37. So the possibility here would have been to go stupid camera there or up this hill to try and get some shots in. Speed up to second speed. Our Walker Bulldog takes care of the problem anyways. E-25 survives. Scores an out at 7. Now the enemies were last spotted on our side of the map, and our heavies are finally pushing. And we did know that there was a T-28 prototype back down there, and we've noticed that our Rheinmetall Borsig is getting out of here. So we're going to pull back. This is a bit of a risky way to pull back, especially if anything is up there. But it works out anyways, and we're going to head here. I personally don't like sitting here because there really isn't much you can do, and you're pretty much in the open. But we've deployed our camera and our binocular telescope, and the Walker Bulldogs return to assist us. The map situation is still looking quite alright. The Borsig and the Walker Bulldog are obviously getting something to shoot at, and that's a T-28 prototype. We've just shot our lower side of the track, or the essential track, and done no damage. Personally, that position straight down in there, before you manage to get on top of the hill, stop, aim the gun, and wait for the tank to stop rocking back and forward. Anyways, it works quite alright. He wafts the shell right into the bottom end of our central track and does no damage whatsoever. At least not significant. So that guy's dead. We're looking for a shell of the SU-100, but that's not going to happen since it's on the other side of the train tracks, much like the rest of his team. That tree's pretty heavy, believe me. And I'm going to pause it here. This is a position you want to be fighting in when you're against enemies on the top of the ridge. You're on the inside of this, you're mostly safe from artillery far down there. It makes it really difficult for them to get a shell down. They pretty much have to move all the way up to somewhere where our lurv is on this ridge, which makes it vulnerable from getting spotted where our T-34 is by any light tanks down there. That's the only real place you'll be vulnerable to artillery from, but if you hug the train tracks, you should be able to avoid that. Anyways, I'm going to speed it up to 4 times. There really isn't much to see here, and we've just stopped in a bush, which is costing us further amounts of damage. We do see a T-25/2, but we're on the lower ground and there's still a top of the train tracks to deal with. We spot the SU-101. We're never going to get a shot on him either. And I'll just spoil it here. We're not going to get any more damage or shells in the rest of this game. So we'll just quickly wrap this up. It's fine to be passive in your play, definitely, especially with a tank, that's supposed to be a bit more passive. But sometimes the enemies just don't let you be passive because they're playing passive as well. So if you do want to get damage out of the game, you're going to have to, move up. And I'll stop here before the last enemy T-34 actually dies. In the end, the enemies were all kind of beaten up, and T-28 prototype was coming along. So I can understand, and it would, in my opinion, also be the correct thing to do to sit there and try to wait for him to show up. But once he was dealt with, the enemies were also being pushed from the northern flank, so keeping the pressure up at that point and coming along the outer end of the train tracks to be able to snipe down here, or at least deal with anything on top of there, and then push on with the teammates from the north, who I assume would be reasonably beat up since they did fight a decent force in the city, and it was pretty much just a Löwe and a T-34 in there. We did lose the T-34, I believe. No, we didn't. He's still alive. Oof, barely. We did lose the Panther, however, and he managed to get himself 3 kills. So at that point, the tactical situation would probably demand that the team from the southern areas of the map also move themselves upwards and basically catch the rest of them and kill them off. And let's just watch this last T-34 die. And take a pot shot at him, but it's 2 buildings in the way. That's not going to happen. Anyways, that's pretty much that's it for this replay. Just to sum up our own gameplay. Well, there really isn't much to sum up since from these ranges, I'm not going to talk about weak spots or where to aim or whatever. It's really just the only real comment on the shooting would be the insufficient lead on the Leopard in the beginning. Otherwise, there's nothing to comment on the shooting, other than not enough, in my opinion. Could easily be getting more damage out of this game if we'd been a bit more aggressive in the final stages of the match. And I guess, judging by the fact that you have 59 games, at least at the time of recording this, in the VK3001D, I assume you're still grinding this thing further towards the VK3002D, and if you're not grinding, you're at least trying to save up the experience for it. But trying to be a bit more efficient in that can definitely help you get up the tiers slightly faster, and it's not going to cost you much more. So yeah. That's about it for what I've wrote up. Thanks for watching. Do keep in mind that what I say about tactical analysis and gameplay, it's purely my own opinion. I'm trying to base this off what you wrote and trying to provide suggestions on it. Do take what I say with a pinch of salt and suit it to your own playstyle. Remember that everything we say isn't law or anything, it's just a couple of tips and our own opinions on it. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.